All right. Hello, what's up, everybody? How are we doing? Welcome again. Welcome. I want to appreciate everyone for joining me. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. My name is Olafisoye, and you are welcome to Life Growth with Olafisoye. I want to appreciate every one of you that you've joined live, and I want to apologize for starting late. All right. I started, I think, how many minutes late now? 18 minutes. I know some of you might have joined earlier, but we are starting now. And my guest is actually, she's already in the studio, all right? And we'll be having very interesting conversation today. I must mention that today's event, during the break, we'll be giving Shopeni Solutions the platform to talk to us. All right. But without any further ado, I want to ask every one of us, tell me your name and where you are watching us from. Whether you're love to say like myself, right? But tell me your name and where you are watching us from. Thank you so much. And please do well to share this. I know you have somebody in your network who needs to learn something about data privacy. We need to learn something about data security. And our guest today, this is our specialty, all right? And we'll be learning more about our guest. Without any further ado, let me introduce my guest to you. For some of you that you watched, I had a conversation with my guest, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had a conversation about the law, all right? What you don't know about the law. That was on Instagram, all right? That was on Instagram, but we are bringing it now to YouTube and LinkedIn. So I believe it's going to be a very interesting conversation. Once again, my guest is a legal practitioner, a regulatory compliance specialist, and arbitrator. I remember the last time she explained this thing in details to me. My guest, Faith Iyanoloa Araromi, is a distinguished legal professional with expertise in law, regulatory compliance, and arbitration. Her career is marked by a commitment to excellence, intellectual rigor, and regulatory intelligence. She earned a Bachelor of Law from Joseph Ayo Babalola University, followed by the Nigerian Law School, where she solidified a strong legal foundation. During her NYSC at Tayo Folade and Co., Faith gained hands-on legal experience, deepening her understanding of legal practice and governance. She then transitioned into the banking sector, joining Ecobank Nigeria as a regulatory compliance officer, where her expertise in legal and regulatory framework set her apart. Her dedication and proficiency earned her the designated compliance professional DCP certification, a testament of her excellence in compliance and risk management. Further enhancing her credentials, Faith is an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrator UK, reinforcing her commitment in dispute resolution and arbitration. With a blend of legal acumen, regulatory expertise, and arbitration proficiency, Faith continues to make a significant impact in the legal and financial sector. Men and brethren, I am excited to bring in my guest. I guess she's ready for me. Hello, Faith Esquire. I think I'm correct this time.
I thank God you're not using barista. You're not totally correct, but then we can manage this.
Yeah, please correct me. We are learning every day, so please correct me again. So what should it be?
So if you want to use Esquire, you go with the initials. So you can say F.I. Araromi Esquire.
Oh, see, so it should be F-I-R-R-O-M Esquire. Okay, okay. I
But if
mean,
you're
I'm
just
better
calling me
than.
straight, that's nice.
Okay, I could. No, I like the Esquire. I mean, if it's not barista, if it's not lawyer, then I love to just have it Esquire. Maybe I should call it arbitrator, right? But once again, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you today? How was today, Faith?
Mm, today was good. I said today was good. Today is good. Like it was really stressful, but then I'm happy to be here.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Faith, once again for having this conversation. I believe for as many that watched us on Instagram the last time, in fact, somebody said when we are having this session, he would really, really want to be there. And I believe it's really going to be
Oh,
a very interesting conversation. Once again, we want to talk about data privacy and security in Nigeria. And I know this is your area of expertise, but can you tell us about what you do in the bank? I mean, just like I said the last time, I said, I mean, what's the work of a lawyer in the bank? We know bankers work in the bank,
yeah.
lawyers work in the court. What's the lawyer doing in the bank now?
No, we already talked about this misconception in our last session. Not all lawyers work in the courts. Do you get? Not all lawyers appear in
Yeah.
courts. So some people are into corporate law practice and other stuffs. Some people are even police officer. They work as the legal department in the police. Yeah. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
As
the
a police person working in a bank?
legal counsel. Yes. No.
Wow.
I'm saying like legal counsel, they work in the police industry, like the
Okay, in the
security
police.
agency industry,
Oh, yeah.
the federal road safety, the security agency at large. So law is a very versatile course or like profession.
Wow. That's right. Thank you so much once again, Faith. I'm really excited that we're having this conversation. So I want us to kickstart this conversation this way. Can you just give us a general overview of what maybe for a layman like myself, and for let me say for many Nigerians, we know about data. I understand that for many Nigerians, when we talk about data, the first thing that will come to our mind may be maybe MTN or Glo or Etisalat. All right, but maybe you could tell us on a general overview what data is or data privacy is, especially to us as Nigerians. I want us to really focus um, on Nigeria as a country. All right. So over to you, Faith.
So data is like your personal information. That's just how I'm going to summarize everything as a layman. So for instance, now when you want to open an account in a bank, they ask for your personal data. When you want to, let's say, order stuffs on Glovo or Chowdeck, all these delivery companies, they ask for your data. Like, what's your name? Where do you want us to get? And where do you want us to deliver these things to? Your address, all those your personal information. Do you get? That's basically what data means in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I also want to ask, Faith. I don't know, and that's why I want to ask. That's why we have it here. About the what the government or what the law saying about data in Nigeria. Let me use this as an example. When I was doing research on this subject, I found out that there is something called NDPA. I think maybe Nigerian Data, what's it called?
Protection, Protection Act,
Act. Yes. So I want to, and I found out that it was just signed recently, 2023. All right. So
2023.
maybe you,
Yeah.
right. Can you just give us a general overview of what that is and how it's applicable to an average Nigerian?
Okay. So thanks to President Tinubu, he signed the act in 2023. Before then, there was a regulation, the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. So
Yeah.
that was a mere regulation. It was not like passed by the Parliament or the like National Assembly and all. I think it was enacted by this National Information Technology Agency, just those people, and they are the ones that made the regulation. they are the ones enforcing the regulation. So it was not, it did not have much legal backing, if I
Mm.
can use that word. It didn't have much legal backing. So 2023, they decided to step up their games a little, because Nigerians don't take data protection very seriously. You see, like, you submit CV in a company, and let's say in the next 6 months, you're seeing your CV with a volley seller wrapping volley with your CV, with your personal information, your date of birth, and all of those. So I think they saw the need to step up their games as regard policies and regulation. So that's just the basic overview about Nigerian Data Protection Act.
Thank you so much. Nigerian Data Protection Act. I want you to talk also, Faith, about individual privacy rights. All right. Do we have rights to privacy? I think that should be the right word. As a Nigerian, I mean, backed by law, just like you mentioned about the new act that was signed by President Tinubu.
Yeah, so that's like the difference between the regulation and this acts we have now. So before, they were no they were yes, they were right, but the implementation was not that strong. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think there was right to erasure, yes, erasure, like when you have your data on the platform and you want them to remove it, you want them to delete it. They keep sending you. In fact, this Nigeria is even very funny. You might give a particular organization, the data controllers, might give them your personal information, maybe job application, you're trying to apply for jobs, and you know all these links now, you are using it. Before you know it, yeah, one company, one organization, unsolicited advice, unsolicited marketing is entering your mail. Like, from where to where? This is not the purpose why I gave my data to this particular organization. So they are used to doing that, and you know most Nigerians are not aware of this, right? I don't think they are enlightened enough. I think most people don't even know that there's something called Nigerian Data Protection Act. Do you understand? So they are like you said, they are rights. They are rights that affect individual. They are rights that can be enforced now in this act, because there's a commission now that oversees the compliance. Unlike when it was the regulation, that it was the maker that was the authorizer. It was the maker of the regulation was the compliance officer, was the one doing all in all. But now, like, the commission is now the compliance officer, is the one that's trying to enforce. And they are not even playing at all. Like, I've been seeing them in action back to back. Even financial
Mm.
institutions they've been collecting their own. Do you get? So I think people need to be, yes, enlightened that their rights, their personal rights. And some of these rights are, like I said, right duration. When you see that they keep sending you MTN, for instance, hey, we have so I don't want that's a very vague example, but like something we can
Mm.
relate to. Okay, let me use Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza. Say not everybody eats Domino's, but these unnecessary marketing, sending you mail, sending you spams, all these things that can even cause cyber security threats. You get, sending you links, unsolicited advertisement. So you have right to unsubscribe and tell them to delete your data with immediate effect and alacrity. You have the right to access your data. You have the right to rectify. You see that instead of Araromi face Yanolua, you're having Araromi Yanolua face. You have the right to rectify. There are so many rights, and the good thing about it is that these rights can actually be enforced. They are not okay. I don't want to go to the constitution now. They are not the rights you have in the constitution that are just like for figurehead. These ones can
Right.
actually be enforced. Yes.
So what's now the difference between this one? Because I'm still going to talk about rights. There are some examples. I still wanted to go into that constitution, but I mean, what's the difference between, you mentioned, like, it's not like the rights, some of the rights in the constitution that are like figures. But what's the what's the
Hey, don't hold me by my words.
oh Lord, no. So, but I want you to really talk about why this, because my next line of conversation is still going to be on compliance and regulation, and I know this your expertise. How do organization comply to this law, or how should,
Hmm.
maybe there's somebody from an organization that is watching us right now? What's the next step so that Somebody somewhere will not come and enforce it or write an organization that is not aware about the implication. Just like you mentioned, NDP, NDPR, NDPR, yes, NDPR was just a regulation, all right, was just a list of, okay, this is what you should do to data, all right, but now it has been signed as an act and it's enforced by the law. So, what should organizations do when it comes to complying to this act?
Hmm. So I will try my best to be very careful not to infringe on the confidentiality agreement I have with my organization because that's actually my role. That's my role in my organization. So one of the things I will say is that it is very important for organizations to have data protection officer, like a compliance officer. Most
Mm.
people they are after making
Like a
money.
lawyer.
Let's make the money. It doesn't even
Sorry,
have to
the
be a lawyer. That's
data.
the good thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a lawyer. Like they are professionals in this field. They have certifications. Like the Nigeria Data Protection Commission actually certifies some people. You don't even have to be a lawyer. Do you get? So, but to have a lawyer is an added advantage because of the legal background. Yes. So one thing, like you said, advising the organizations, I've realized that it is very difficult for organizations to hire a compliance officer or a data protection officer that is going to be in the capacity of compliance. Oh, organization, let's make sure that we have the opt-out option. Let's make sure that we take consent from the data subjects. Do you get? They feel like they just want to make money. We want profit. And when you now do something, they don't know that the cost of non-compliance is more expensive than the cost of compliance. What am I trying to say? When you feel like, oh, I just want to make money, compliance is not really necessary. We don't have to have a compliance officer as long as we are making profit. You will do something that if the other party is a learned person, like the person that aware of their rights, they now go to court that they want to enforce their rights. It will cost you more than your profits. Just like this meta case. I don't know if you heard of this meta case where they were sanctioned, I think $233 million for data for data infringement. So it's very important to get a data protection officer in your organization. Most people don't know this. I think the only state that is really in vogue with compliance and the regulatory aspect is Lagos State, Lagos and maybe Abuja. All the up countries, I don't think they are aware that they have to have this kind of department. It's a statutory department. It's not a department that you can just say, oh, let's clear. We don't have, we can survive without, you cannot survive without a compliance department, a data protection officer. So one major advice I would like to give them is that it's very important for you to set up that department. In fact, in the financial industry, you can't have a bank now without this department. It's not possible. Marketing is really, really important. It's a very important department, because they don't bring in money. As long as you're having that marketing, it's very important for you to have a compliance department. So as you're bringing in the money, they are the one that will serve as check. They will serve as a licensing officer between the regulators and the business. So it's very important for an organization. Start from there. Get somebody that is experienced and an expert, like they will say, in that area. That's the advice I would like to give them.
Wow, thank you so much for that. I think that's pretty clear. I want to ask, Faith, what, I mean, I'm still very particular about this new department, all right, about compliance, all right, about data compliance and the rest. What would be the major work of this department or the personnel in this department?
The major work, like you're trying to say their job description. So for instance,
Yeah.
now I'll use the financial institution for instance. Let me give you a scenario. Have you ever checked your phone number I don't know if you have PAMPay app or what? all these financial, all these fintech organization. I'm sorry, I don't want to mention any name. So I there's a particular app that somebody told you. Somebody said you should check. I'm sure you have an account with these people. Like, I don't have an account with any of these fintechs. I deal with commercial banks because I'm of the opinion that if they carry my money, I'm not supposed to think like that. But then typical Nigerian now. Like if they carry my money, there is no structure. There's nobody I want to go and drag. Like my money has gone, like a typical Yoruba girl. So I was like, "Ah, I rather transact with a commercial organization where I know I can drag them and So I was like, check. Then I decided to check, and I'm seeing my name with my BVN. How did you get this information about me? So this these are the roles of the compliance officer. Do you get? You make sure that every KYC you are doing is in line with the regulatory requirements. What does KYC mean? Know your customer. These people you're asking to bring money in, these business owners, these I don't know what they call it in other organizations, but for us we call them marketers. People that they are the ones that they are the engine room of a financial institution. They are the one that brings money, they are the one that allows the compliance department, they are the one that gives them their salary. Because if they don't bring money, how are we going to get our salary? You get? So when they are under pressure, they tend to bring in, and this thing is not only financial department, every industry, and it's not only financial industry, every industry, the purpose of every business is to make profits. So these people that are supposed to drive the profits, when they are under pressure, oh, you have to do this, you have to bring this in, this is your target for this, they will look for every means to meet up. Like they are not concerned about the regulatory sanctions, about the risk. They can be reputational risk, market risk, systematic, different kind of risk. They don't care at that point. Let me meet my target, and you can't blame them. These people are humans, so they are ready to formulate, to fabricate, to get maybe I don't want to give examples now. I don't want to use the CV example. Maybe I just cite somebody's NIN on their CV and all of those. I'm ready to help them open accounts against their will. You must buy what I'm selling. So this is the
Yeah.
job of the compliance department. They try to mitigate. They conduct regular audits. They try to mitigate risk that has accrued in an organization. They will not only spot the risk, but they'll try to look for solutions to the risk. They'll try to educate every other department that this compliance thing is not just for compliance department, it's not for the data protection officers alone. It's very important to know that compliance is everybody's business. Like if the marketers too have to have it at the back of their mind, like my own is not just to make sure the company has profit. You have to know that when you bring money that will choke your organization in the truth, you will vomit it back. And you're not just going to vomit what you have swallowed, you might vomit more. Do you get? So that's just one of the few job descriptions of the data protection officer.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think that's pretty clear. But Faith, I don't know whether I know you don't want to. You have the best reason why you don't want to, but I don't know whether you don't whether there are typical examples, and maybe you could really analyze. You mentioned about the meta example the other time. All right, so I don't know whether there are other examples of this violation, and if you could just maybe legally whether you can run us through the offense, how justice was served, how before justice was served, how I don't know the legal term now, how maybe the person whose data was breached, how he complained, or I don't know whether you, or maybe you could just run us through the scenario of the infringement to justice.
Okay. So like I said, these acts they mean business. Like I mean, they just signed this, just passed this act into law, and there's regulatory sanctions flying here and there. Because we have fidelity. Yes, that's public knowledge. That's public knowledge. We have the case against Fidelity Bank where they have to pay, I think, 500 and something million for data infringement. So one of the and one of the reasons why this particular financial institution, one of the reasons why they were sued was because of this KYC issue. I don't know if I mentioned the full meaning of KYC, know your customer. That's the process where you ask for their personal, their data. Yes. So when they gave that information, I don't really know the fact of the case. So I'm just going to try and summarize it the way I read the judgment. So I think the customers gave their details. But I don't think the essence of this giving out this data is for account opening. So at the end of the day, they found themselves in this situation of opening account and all of that. And but apart from these cases, one cogent thing that we should note is that when you know you've done this wrong, the first step is for the claimant, that's the aggrieved person, to reach out to this organization. You can't just jump the gun. Reach out to this organization. I think you breached my right to, and if they decide to hear you, like hear, I mean AIR, like when they decide to ignore you, snub you, that's when you can now proceed to the commission. Then the commission will now investigate these issues. So that's the same with Meta. Like the fact of the case that are kind of similar, you know, they reached out to this organization and they just decided like, I beg, it does not mean anything because, and I don't blame them, because Nigeria has not been strict about data protection in the past. So, like I said earlier, people are not so aware of the content of this act. They are they think it's just like every other act that we can just. But as permit me to speak English, body they pepper this commission. Like they want to
Nice.
use one or two people as scapegoats. They want to use one or two people as scapegoats. I think that's why Fidelity Bank and Meta fell short. Fell. I don't want to use victim now of these sanctions. I think Meta's sanction is even the one of the largest sanction imposed on an organization in Africa. Do you get? So once they reach out to these people, they try to ignore it. Like, is it not normal emails they are sending you? Are you the only one? All those kind of I don't care attitude. So once you don't respond to them and they go to the commission will investigate and trust that the commission really wants to make individuals at ease that we there for you. This policy we made, we are here to enforce it for you. So they will investigate and make sure that if this claim of this data subject is true, they make sure to slam you with sanctions. So one of the things that I think these people used to fall short of is the lack of consent. You do things, you transfer people's data without their consent. And the truth is that, the funniest thing, even if you add this consent in your privacy, your terms and conditions, Nigerians don't read all these things. Once you just click that box, it is all you don't consent, you've consented. Yeah. But I think because they don't know the content, they don't know how serious these people are. They've been using the same terms and conditions they've been using since 2004. They've not seen the need to remodel this policy to be in line with the Nigerian Data Protection Act. So that's one of the reasons. It's not that they don't know these things, but they've not really seen. They feel like there's really no, like, it's not that deep. But now other organizations have now learned from their mistake because they've seen that these sanctions are almost not from this world. They've now decided that they are going to incorporate all these things. But SMEs, that's the small medium enterprise, are still falling short. And yes, they are still falling short of this same issue that I've made mention of, lack of content. There's an issue with Global where Global now, they are these delivery organizations where I think somebody ordered for Domino's on Global. And normally if you order from Global, because you can't get this Domino's pizza without Global sending your personal information to Domino's pizza. So they are supposed to send it on a normal ground. So the purpose of sending it is for your Domino's pizza to get to you. I think Domino's Pizza now, since they've gotten this data of this particular customer, they decided to wire this customer with series of mail. Oh, help us, come and join us in our combo, our big medium size. And the claimants, the data subjects now in this sense, reached out to them. I don't know why you are sending me this. I don't want this. I think the claimants even try to unsubscribe, but no, they will not hear. They are doing their marketing strategy. And um sanctions was imposed on them. So these are one of the issues.
Wow. Thank you so much, Faith, for those powerful examples. I think I just want to look at two or one or two more questions before we go for a short break, because we still need to talk about how individuals can exercise their rights. But I don't know whether you are familiar with AI and these emerging trends and technologies. So I want to ask, how does AI affect this data privacy? All right, we are in a day whereby maybe for students, you are doing your masters, right? And I'm also doing my masters, and you just get something anywhere, anyhow. There is maybe I shouldn't mention it, but there is this tool. There's this tool we call web scraping. All right, we use it to scrape email. All right. So you just go to your website, you just script email and just get people's email, and you can, we call it blasting. You can blast them with emails and the like. So I don't want to talk about the position of this act with these emerging trends and technologies.
Hmm. So this thing, this AI thing you talked about is one of the challenges this app is facing. Trying to enforce this data protection act on this artificial intelligence, because Nigeria is not too advanced. We are trying, we are getting there, but we are not as advanced as other developing countries and other developed countries. So there's no much. I've not seen anything in fact that can really hold this AI tool by their hands. Although they're trying to slash sanctions here and there, but there are no clear provisions, on how these these AI tools, how they can comply with the Nigerian protection. It's not clear. Their duties, the expectations is not clear. And I was doing one research the other day, and I was saying that the Nigerian protection the Nigerian Data Protection Act is trying to make some policies, to make all these things very explicit. They are trying this cross border data transfer and all of that, but
Yeah.
the enforcement is still not there, because this is like the first of its kind, so to speak. And Meta is one of it, but Meta, we already used to Meta, Facebook, right? We're already used to Facebook and all, but this AI, it just became popular, I think, 4 5 years ago, if I'm not wrong. If I'm not wrong. So there are really no principles like that to buy this technology for now. And I'm aware that most of these AI, there's always a disclaimer that we are not into data. Whatever you do is end-to-end encryption. I mean, you're an IT guy now. You know how you guys do
Yeah.
these things. But there's a
Mhm.
general provision. There's this general provision, just like as it applies to financial institutions and other organizations. There's a general provision that sends a signal to every industry at large that we are not joking with this data protection. Whatever you want to do, make sure that this data protection is this data of our citizens are well, they are well protected. But the step by step, the guidelines required, they are not so clear, because, like I said, this is the first act of its kind.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. But how about on cyber threats? All right, cyber threats or online extortion. I had an experience sometimes ago when somebody sent me an email, and he said a lot of things. He said I should send him so amount of Bitcoin. I said, okay, that's good. He now said, he said, he have the access to my credentials and the likes, because what he did basically was he logged in into that account and he sent me my password. All right. He sent me my email and sent me my password. So what's the impact of this? Because by the time I did more findings to find out how is he able to get my password, and one of the things I found out is probably I have logged in into a particular website with that same email and that same password, another website entirely. All right. use that, maybe he had access to that email and password and use it to have access to this particular one. All right. So I want you to really explain, if possible, the impact of this regulation or this act on cyber threats and online extortion.
Yes. In fact, before this act, there's a cyber security law. I think that was enacted in 2015 that talks about this threats and everything. But I think one of the issues is that people the implementation, like I said, the implementation is not so strong. The implementation is also because cybersecurity has been since 2015, and I've not really heard of. There are a lot of spam. There are a lot of vishing. Vishing. I think that's what you guys call it. There's phishing and there's vishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are a lot of
Yeah.
this, and I've really not seen implementation like a locus classicus, a principle that everybody will follow. Because if all these principles are really there for people to follow, we would have had cases just like the way I mentioned this fidelity case. This would have had cases of something like this where if somebody you use somebody as scapegoats, in law we call it judicial precedence. Would have had a precedence, to refer to. But the implementation of cybersecurity, yes, they need more awareness, but the implementation is still very vague. It's still very vague. That's why people are doing all of these things. So, like I said, this is the first of its kind. This is the first of its kind, and we are hoping because the commission, that's the Nigerian Data Protection Commission, they are trying their possible best. But I don't think they are trying as much as CBN is because when it comes to data protection and the I think Nigerian Communication Commission, the NCC, I think they are well versed with this data protection of a thing than this recent Nigerian Data Protection Act and everything. I think they're trying to be in line with global standards. This new act, but the act is still a baby. The implementation is still vague. Even if they're trying to scare everybody and all those stuff, the implementation, the enforcement is still a little bit limited. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Faith. After a short break now, we would still talk about rights and data subjects. We'll be talking about individual rights. We'll also talk about sector specific. I know you are working in the banking sector, but we'll also look at how this regulation impact the banking sector. We're talking about international data transfer. You already mentioned that, and we'll look at future trends. But we want to get a word from a sponsor for this particular event. So, Faith, will be right back.
Um, Good evening, everybody, and I am so much excited to be on the show. My name is Uluwani Ayola, the business analyst of Showcase Solutions. So I'm on the show today to talk about Showcase Solutions and our services. And I will tell you for free that Showcase Solution is an IT solution based company here in Akure, Nigeria. We've been in existence for over 13 years. We are into IT solutions. We are into SME software solutions. I mean, CRM software, sales software, um, inventory softwares too as well, IT support, CCTV installation, solar system and inverter system installations. We do trainings too as well. We are into computer networking training, graphics design training. We are into a lot more, and we are also up for consultations too, where you need professional advices. You can come in and just ask for what and what to do so that you'll be on the safe side. Security, we bridge um that wall of security where you make sure your properties are top notch. You don't lose them to people, to bad people who want to just come around to say, okay, what are they doing? Then they just tap into what you have. So we are into security solutions too as well, where we give you a structure that will guide your properties. We make we also build websites. Yes, we do website training too. We do website design and development using WordPress. A whole lot more that we offer as our services. And yes, you can always give a shout, and we are at your beck and call, and we would try our best to find a solution to any problems you encounter. And so much happy again to be on the show. Thank you so very much. um
All right, so welcome back, everybody. Thank you. That was word from Showcase Solutions, one of our sponsors for this event. And again, our other sponsor for this event is Taylor Innovation and Consultancy. They are having a training on the 17th and 18th of March 2025. Design like a pro with Canva. Design like a pro with Canva, and they said it will cover Canva design basics and design 10 principles, advanced features, and hands-on projects. So it's coming up 17th to 18th of March 2025. All right, so if you want to register, I guess you have the link there, bit.ly/Stiola25, bit.ly/Stiola25. All right, so I think Faith is back, and let's um, continue with our conversation. All right, so Faith, are you ready for us? Let's go to the part two of our conversation. I personally have been enjoying this conversation, and I believe for as many have been joining us or watching us live are also enjoying this wonderful conversation with me. So Faith, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So Faith, let's talk about what rights do individuals. I know you've mentioned of them, but I want you to address this as a matter now. What right do individuals have under the NDPA 2023 regarding their personal data? What rights do I have? Because I want to start exercising my right. I want to be serious about this data stuff now. And anybody violating my rights, I will just go and sue them. Well, that's a lighter one. But Faith, I want to tell us what right do individuals have on this particular act. Over to you, Faith.
Yes, thank you very much, Coach. So, like I said before, these people have, like we obviously, with the data subjects, we have right to erasure, we have right to access, we have right to be informed, we have right to be informed that our data wants to be used, and we have the right to object to how it's being used. And one very important thing that people don't know is the process of objecting to these things. Like I said before, it's not as if you just go to the commission to go and lay complaints. Some organization has put the option for unsubscription, like just unsubscribe, opt out, opt in, all those stuffs like that. So the first step is to first unsubscribe. If you are unable to unsubscribe, then send it to them that, oh, I need you to unsubscribe me from this your channel and delete my data immediately. And if you've not gotten satisfactory response, so it doesn't mean that they've not responded to you. If the response is not satisfactory, you have to go to the Nigerian Data Protection Commission to lay a complaint. And within 30 days, you get a response. So these are the rights people have. They have right to object, right to erasure, right to rectification. Just as the word, just as the word implies. When you are objecting, when you are rectifying, okay, my name is this way, I don't want my name to be this way. Do you get right to erasure? Okay, I want you to erase it from your database completely. It's just a way of this right is just a way of making data subjects know that they are in control of their personal data. Do you get? So that's it. These are the rights. Are you with me? Are you with me?
All right. So Faith, thank you for that. Hello, can you hear me, Faith?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Because I was thinking I
I can hear
lost you
you. I
while I
can hear
was
you.
talking.
Yes, but I was monitoring you from my other device. My main device went off. But thank you so much for that response. And I think with that, we know what to do. We know that the first thing to do is if it's a mail, you can unsubscribe. If not, you could just message whosoever
No,
um,
even after
to tell them.
unsubscribing, you can tell them, you can send a mail that you want your data deleted permanently from their database. That's how much
Right,
power we yield over our personal information.
right, right. That's good. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I want to ask Faith about under this act. I don't know whether there are specific data protection requirements for certain industry. I know you are working on in the banking sector. I'm working in IT, people in health, right? Are there specific data protection requirements per industry, or it's just one way street?
Are there specific data protection required? Yes, there are. There are. But I will not be able to say if it's specific to us or is general. But like I know very well because this is my specialty. I know for the financial industry. I know for the financial industry, like I've said, you know, um, taking having unauthorized. But I can say this general. To be honest, it's just general. But I don't know if some industry have some specific thing that accrues to only them. But for financial industries that I am working in currently, it's just making sure that every customer's data is within our protection. So that's why when you come to the bank and let's say, for instance, you want to change your ATM or something, we first of all verify that you are the person because we don't want to expose your information out to other people. So that's why we have the BVN verification. You have to like thumbprint for us to identify that you are the person before we start giving out information. This is not like the initiative of the bank. These are regulatory requirements that we go through to make sure that each and every customer is protected as regards their data. So that's the one that is specific to my own industry. That's one of the few. There are a lot. There are a lot, but that's like the one I think I can think of right now.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that, Faith. I want to ask you, maybe this would be a question to the final question. Can you again talk about cross-border data transfer? All right, if there is an organization here that is having its branch in the United States or outside the country, or just explain to us how does the cross border data transfer, how does it really work? Especially when in view of this act.
We've discussed this. I think I spoke
Yeah.
about this that yes, as much as the act has emphasized that this this data protection is going to cover. So the way this cross border transaction works is that it's not if as long as you are an international organization and you are dealing with Nigerian citizen, so it's supposed to cover Nigerian citizen as long as you're an organization you are dealing with Nigerians. So it's basically the same thing. It's basically the same way it applies. How Yoruba people say it, bó ṣe ṣẹlẹ̀ ní what is it called? Ló ṣe ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Longe. But I think because there are so many challenges with this act now, I think where the issue comes up is where Nigerians, like let's say like uh can you give me an organization for instance?
Mm,
Give me an organization, give me a name of an organization. I want to use it as an example.
Airtel, Airtel Nigeria.
Okay, let's say where Airtel is, you know, doing transaction with another country, and you know that when they are trying to enforce as an organization that is incorporated in Nigeria, when you are trying to align with the data policy, and it's sort of conflicting with another country, like maybe their country is not in line with the global standard, because we have situations like that. Like, Nigeria is not the only developing country. We have countries like Sudan, all these very funny countries. I think that's where the challenge will come in. That's where the challenge will come in. But like I said, we've not really had a precedence of this cross border challenge. But these theorists and scholars, legal scholars, they've been reviewing this act, and these are one of the things they have pinpointed, that enforcing and implementing these principles on cross-border transaction is quite difficult. It's quite stringent. Like it's not looking like something that is foreseeable. And the commission is trying there as much as possible to make um side policies, just to make these duties and regulations clearer, because they are not as clear in the act. So it happens like that when like, for instance, now let me use the Company and Allied Matters Act as an example. When there is a provision in the Company and Allied Matters Act that is causing challenges, causing problem, then the makers of the law decide to make an alteration, but in another regulation, So while you are reading the act itself, you read it vis-a-vis this new policy they've made. So you can't read the act in isolation. So they are trying to work on it to make sure that there's transparency and accountability when it comes to data protection.
Mm, mm. I think that's very clear. And lastly, on this conversation, I believe we've had a very productive conversation, especially when it comes to data privacy and security. I know one of my major takeaway is how to start exercising my rights when it comes to my data. All right, it's not just going
Very
ahead to sue
important. It's
people.
very important.
Yeah, it's not just about going ahead to sue people, but I should first, I don't know the legal term now, but meet the organization and tell them, okay, I want my data deleted, I want my data corrected, all right. And I think there is one you mentioned that used to be very difficult stuff, especially in bank. Maybe bank and BVN, where your name is not, okay, your name in NIN is not well arranged the way it is in BVN, all right. So,
Yes,
do you
you
want
don't
to
go
talk?
back, so you will go back.
Okay. So, so really, really, so I think with this knowledge, people can go ahead and exercise their rights because whatsoever they are doing concerning their personal data is backed by the law, right? So, but Faith, I want to ask you what litigation developments can we anticipate when it comes to Nigeria data protection landscape? Maybe in the in the future. What um yeah, over to you,
Now
Faith.
we have so many limitations and so many challenges as regards the enforcement, although it's quite effective because the commission is sweeping heading into action right away. But there are still some clauses, there are still some principles that are quite vague, and we are hoping that the future policy makers are going to take this into consideration. You mentioned it. One of it is the AI tools, how to make sure that we bind these people, we bind them, the threat, the cybersecurity threat. Yes, because they have wings and they've been flying wild. Enough is enough. So these are one of the future challenges we are hoping that the amended version of this act is going to try to solve. AI is really, really important. Yes, the cross border, you mentioned the cross border. As much as people would like to, I am of a very different opinion that says that it is not really this cross-border data protection all gbogbo tigbo, is not really as effective as other developed countries. Do you get? So it's just like when you want to order from AliExpress, you know how all these people, how they do their things, but a company incorporated in Nigeria, where you're now trying to um when you are trying to do the same with other countries, these things are not expressed. The regulations, the principles are not expressed enough for people to be accountable, and for transparency to be involved. Like for people to know that, oh, this is my data and it's not moving to another place, or this is my data and I want you to, because you can actually port your data to another organization. You have the right to port your data as long as it's with your consent. So I feel like we have these issues. We are hoping that these policies are going to resolve these issues like in the nearest future, and we hope that is as soon as possible. And one of the things, if I might add, that is that I think people, this commission really needs to orientate people. I don't want to mention the constitution again because I've said it before that I don't want to mention the constitution. When it comes to constitution, most people don't know their rights. Most people don't know their rights. They might know their rights, but they don't know how to enforce it. And even when they go to court and they fight for their rights, they don't know how to go about the after. They feel like when you go to court, that's the end of it. You don't know that there's something like an enforcement. If, let's say, the court awards 50 million naira as damages to you, like, okay, they don't do you bad. This is your own damages. People just sit down there and they will expect that the person will pay them. They're like, I'm going to court, what you win. It does not work that way. There is another process after that process. People don't know all these things. You can file garnishee proceeding, you can file writ of FIFA, you can make an order that not you now. The court can make an order that the person owing you this money should sell their properties so that they can pay you. You know, they can just go and auction their property. People don't know all this. They just feel like when they have the judgment is all, I'm victorious. No, that's not how it works. So people really need to be educated about this policy. Know that when you see your CV with Bolly woman, your data has been, your rights has been infringed upon. You know, when you see that you've never you've not had any direct contact with Domino's, any direct contact with Coastone and you Coastlaw, and you start seeing their marketing everywhere. If an algorithm, when you start seeing that your algorithm has changed, you know, these people they've gone to the extent of picking what you
Mm.
say in your private, in your comfort zone, and then they'll just
Yeah.
switch your algorithm to match what you are saying. You know, all these things. When people start knowing, when they start knowing that they have this power over their personal data, I think it's really helped the effectiveness of these policies, these acts.
Mm. Wow, thank you so much. I mean, this your last word that very, very powerful. Thank you so much. One question just came to mind now. Faith, what simple thing would you suggest to small business owners?
Mm.
All right,
SME.
to start doing now so that they will not be, you know, I don't know what the legal term I should use for that, but I know you
Understand?
understand my question.
Yes, I
So
do.
what simple step do you think that is cost effective? If you say a business owner should go ahead and get a data compliance officer, I mean that could be so big for a small business owner. But what do you think a small business? What basic tip can you give to a small business owner right now to start abiding by this act?
So I was flowing with you until you got to the part of it might be expensive. So I said it earlier. If you think compliance is expensive, try the cost of non-compliance. Then you will know that compliance is not expensive at all. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Please give me a minute. Yes, I'm with you. So if you think compliance is expensive, try the cost of non-compliance. Then you know that to do the right thing is better. But like you said, one thing I'm very big on, and that this act has emphasized on, is consent. Consent is really important. So that your 2004 terms and condition that you think when they just press the I agree, you are over. It is over for you. No, go and review it. Make sure it's in line with the Nigeria Data Protection Act. Make sure that what you are collecting their data for is what you are using their data for. I think it's called data minimization. Yes, when you are collecting the data, okay, I think you advertised a particular company that is into tech and all of these stuffs. So when you are collecting your data information, when your the data subjects, that's your customer, and when you are collecting their information for a particular purpose as a company, that's what you should do with it. If you have cause to interact with a third party, and you have cause to share their data with this person, make sure he's in line, make sure they've consented, that because that consent is really important. Make sure they've consented to this, and make sure that it is only for that purpose. It's not for that third party to use that as a medium to start advertising themselves to the people that was not in contract with them. Do you get? So make sure you protect your customer, protect not just their their data now. Make sure that their well-being is of your own utmost important, not just the profit you are going to make. Yes, that's just the advice I would like to give them. Consent and the compliance officer. It might be expensive to you, but
No, no.
reputational risk is
Yeah,
more expensive than and
yeah,
sanction. If you see the sanctions flying about, is enough to
yeah.
crumble a small medium enterprise.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, in our last conversation, if I can't remember anything you said, one statement that kept repeating itself then, and it came up again today, is if you think compliance is expensive, check the cost of
No
non-compliance. All right.
compliance.
So I believe as many that are watching this um, would have learned one or two things. But for those online, if you have any question. I think I should have mentioned this earlier. We are coming to the end of today's event. If you have any question, please use the comment box. I will definitely read out your question, whether you are watching us from LinkedIn or you are watching us from YouTube. All right. Please um, ask your question or maybe just give your comment. All right. Faith, thank you so much for coming again. I remember after that time I said we are definitely going to invite you again. And I really know that before the year again, we will definitely call you again. Here is still going to be a legal matter that we would, want to talk about. But thank you so much. This conversation, of course, conversation with you is always inspiring. I watched your interview during the International Women's Day. I was just very, very excited when when I was saying it, it was a very big one. And thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you stand for. I think when people see you, people, especially young girls, all right, people in their teenage years would definitely be inspired about what you do, what you are doing. So, Faith, we want to say from Life Growth International, we want to say a very big thank you, and God bless you. Amen. Amen. All right. So, Faith, before you go, there is something we used to do on our podcast here. I know during when I invited you the last time, because it was not here, so I didn't ask you those questions. So, we used to ask our guests um, three impromptu questions. All right. So,
Oh,
these are questions that would help personal growth, especially to people watching us. All right. And that would also enable people watching us to understand you better. So, I've not created my system very well. I decided that one of these days, whenever I want to ask my guests questions like this, I will ask for drum rules. So, but I want to ask you, Faith, if you see your 7 year old self, there are three questions, right? There are three
okay.
questions. The first question is, Faith, if you see your 7 year old self, what would you tell her? What advice would you give your 7 year old self?
So, I'll tell. Wow, I was expecting law related questions, but we are going personal now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so I will just tell my 7 year old self, you are doing well. Keep doing what you're doing. I think I entered GS1 at the age of 8, and as at 7, I'm sure I was preparing for the common entrance because and I'll just tell my 7 year old self, you are doing well. Don't listen to the side talks, because I think at that point people were saying, oh, I was too young, my parents are pushing me, they're not letting kids be kids, all this slang of let kids be kids and let them. But I really think it was a good decision my parents made then. I'm not saying other parents should do the same, but now I think that's even the trend nowadays, because we see 19-year-old graduates and all of those. And at that time I thought I was the only one in the world. But then when I when I started relating with every other person, I'm saying, oh, it's not so new. So I'll just tell myself, you are doing well, keep doing what you're doing.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for also giving us the background story to that. And the second question, Faith, is what book or movie. I remember the last conversation I was emphasizing on suits, right?
And let me say, suit is not a clear depiction of what goes on in the legal profession.
In
It
Nigeria,
is not.
it could be something that is it could be something that is going on maybe in the legal profession in the United States now.
No, it didn't even end well. Let's not talk about suits. It didn't end well. People keep pushing this legal profession as a good profession. They keep sending everybody out. So many names on the walls. Let's not talk about this movie, please. I'm their
Okay,
greatest
yeah, okay.
critic.
No, I'm just using that as a prelude to this particular question. So,
Okay.
um, is there any book, that book, I don't know which one you love to use, any book, any movie, any, source of resource that you will recommend to anybody right now?
Hmm. So apart from being a lawyer, I'm more intentional about my personal growth as a woman and as a young girl. You know, a Gen Z in the workspace. We call them Gen Zs. So I would say richest man in Babylon, because
Mm,
I when I was living with my parents, it was so easy to say, ah, daddy give me this, daddy give me that. And then I was thinking that when I earn 30,000, oh my god, all my problems are going to be solved. But then I got my job and it was huge. I'm like, "Ah, okay, I'm going to get a car in the next 1 year." But then reality dawned on me. Reality dawned on me, and then I started looking for financial literacy books, all these books that can enlighten me financially, because I don't think our parents really taught us that. They didn't teach me how to be financially dependent, independent. So I was thinking of how to, manage my resources, save and still give to my loved ones, and The Richest Man in Babylon is the best book for that as a young girl. It's very important for you to have your own money. My cousin then calls it vex money. So that nobody will use you for shakara. You need to have your
mm,
own money as much as people are willing to give you. You need to have your savings. So that book is a very good one for young girls and anybody interested in financial literacy.
mm. Very powerful. I've read that book also. Very powerful. Very, very, very powerful book. Thank you so much for that recommendation. And the last question, you see, my questions are not that difficult, right?
They're not that difficult. They're just
Right. So my
personal.
last, yeah, they are personal. All right. So my last question would be, if there is anybody, whether dead or alive, that you would love to meet right now, who will that person be, and what would you tell that person, or what would you ask that person? If there is anybody you would love to meet right now, whether dead or alive, who would that person be? What and what would you tell that person?
Please, I'm not gonna say the truth here because for the sake of
Why
professionalism,
now?
I'm just gonna try and be professional. No, we are
I
not
don't
going for that
understand.
route. If this was a
Okay.
if this was a lifestyle kind of podcast, maybe I would have been free. But for my reputation's sake, I would just say my dad.
Okay.
I would say my
All
dad.
right.
He's such a strong man. Like he has carried the family on his shoulders. And the kind of men, I'm so sorry, the kind of men that are infested in this world now, they are the 50-50 kind of man. And I'm just shocked because I'm in Lagos right now and I'm just seeing people that are like, oh, what's your quota? I'm like, I don't know. This is very strange to me. They'll be like, I'm a 50-50 kind of guy. I'm like, I'm not a 50-50 kind of girl. I'm a daddy's girl. They'll not be like, okay, 60-40. Like, who is giving you this formula? So my dad basically he has done so well for me. I'm so proud of you, and I'm sure he's proud of me too.
Right. So, I mean, I guess you may want to say, what would you love to say to him? If he's listening to this, maybe we'll definitely cut this out and send it to him right now, maybe later on. So, what would you want to say to him right now?
If you are going to cut this part out, I will say my parents. Let me rephrase, like
Okay,
my
good.
parents, my dad and my mom. I don't want to cause voice. I don't want to disturb your peace. My dad and my mom. Oh
Okay,
my God.
okay,
I cannot
okay.
have wished for any other parents apart from you. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for believing in me. These guys literally took the leap of faith with me. And I'm so grateful that God held me by the hands to fulfill everything they've planned for me. This is really, really amazing. Thank you so much, Dad and Mommy. I love you.
We love you too. Thank you so much, Faith. Thank you. It was, our conversation has been very wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Faith.
If I can add,
Um,
you're such a great presenter too. It's so easy to flow with you. There's no
uh,
tension. It's just vibes, like Gen Z we say. It's just cruise.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that, Faith. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. All right. So once again, our guest today is FI Esquire. I take the correction.
F.I. Araromi Esquire.
Okay, I will have to put an arrow in there. Okay. Correction
Yeah.
taken.
Yeah.
Correction taken. Correction taken. FIRR Esquire. Once again, want to say very big thank you to for joining us on this particular event. Before you go, Faith, I want you to, just give a final word um, of advice to anybody listening to us or anybody that just chimed in concerning the conversation we had today. Any final word will you love to share? Over to you, Faith.
Hello, everyone. It's nice being here tonight. I would like to say this. It is very important to prioritize your customer, your client's data protection. Like, it is very, very important to receive their consent before doing anything that is against the data protection principles. So I will emphasize on consent. As much as possible, try and get your customers' consent and try and implement strong encryption. You know, these are my last words for you. I hope that you also know that if you refuse to get a compliance department in your industry, you know that the cost of non-compliance is greater than the cost of compliance. So thank you very much for having me here, Coach Olafisoye. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Faith. Until another time we see, thank you so much. Bye, Faith. God bless
Bye.
you. All right. So, everyone, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Faith. If you are watching us, please do well to like, do well to subscribe, do well to share. All right, this is Life Growth with Olafisoye Ige. And we have a video currently on YouTube on productivity. All right, productivity. This month we are basically talking about productivity strategies. I have this particular video where I reviewed a video talking about time blocking, deep work, and long-term focus. So I would really recommend to every one of us do well to check out this video. It will definitely help you. And again, let me say, please do well to subscribe to Live Group with Olafisoye again on Spotify, on YouTube, where do we stay again? On Apple Music, anywhere you listen to podcasts, please do well to subscribe to Life Growth with Olafisoye again. We bring conversation concerning personal growth, concerning professional growth, what you need to know as an individual, right? And this month, just like I said earlier, we are talking about mastering productivity for success. And already we have two episodes on our platform. If you check on Spotify, Live Go to Tolabisi, Mastering Productivity for Success, we have setting the right priorities and time management myths. There are some myths about management, myths about time management that many of us are. Let me give us an hint of one of them is about multitasking. Multitasking is a myth. Go to that audio and check out what I said about multitasking. You should not multitask. Maybe let me say it this way. You should not multitask. Instead of multitasking, focus on single tasking. If you want to learn better, go ahead and check that. I also talked about this coming week, we'll be sharing the audio on building a personal productivity system and lastly, sustaining productivity. So I want to recommend to every one of us, please do well to check this out. And until another time we'll be seeing, when next are we going to see, right? Until another time we'll be seeing, I want to say thank you so much. Um, Peace. I don't know what to say again. All right, but thank you and God bless you.